Hi everyone, welcome to Mamsu Code video guide session. In this video, we will take a look at the steps involved in initializing a unit test project with a dummy test. In the previous instance, you would have left your Visual Studio instance in a user branch. So let's go and change it to the main branch. Anytime you create a user branch, do ensure your main is always the latest copy. What it means is we initialized the console application and we pushed the code to main branch. As a next task, we worked on our GitHub action where there is a change in the main branch, which we don't have it in our local branch. So the following task, whatever you create, should always be on the main branch with the latest code, unless there is any other typical situation where we don't want to get main. For now, let's understand that whenever we are creating a user branch, we should always be taking the latest copy. For that, hover this icon and understand that this is git pull. What it means is from the server, it is trying to pull the copy into your local machine. So it's performing that action and it gives me a message that your repository is now updated with this commit ID. Okay, so now I got the solution which says example and I created a console application. Now we are going to add a new project. So right click the solution, add new project. This time we're going to choose a template called XUnit test project. Again, you can search for it. You'll get it here. You can select the template and let's move on. The naming convention. So we'll start with our solution name. And then this is going to be the test project. We kind of have multiple test projects that we can create in a given software. Right now, we are being introduced to unit test. So unit, this is good. And let's click on next. Similarly, let's go with 5 and then update it to 6. So here it did something. It created a project and then it created a C# file. Okay. As usual, we'll have to add an header file. Nice. If you see, this one has come with the name example test unit, and this is unit test 1, right? Let's rename this as it is going to be a temporary test. Let's say delete me. Now it's asking, do you want to rename all the references? So right now you see this is unit test 1, right? When we say yes, this is automatically renamed. Good. Now let's go write a test. So I don't want this name. I want it to be always true. Should be true. This is just a dummy test, right? Once you actually write a system related test, then we can remove this. Okay. And what I'm saying is assert dot true. It's auto completing. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So be cautious on the code that you are accepting from the autocomplete. Okay. So to understand, assert, over it, read about it. It's a library that's out there that we can use. And then true means it verifies whatever you're passing in is true or not. So I'm going to always pass true and it's always going to pass because it's true. That's what it's getting validated also. Another aspect of code, right? It has to be clean. Now let's look at two aspects of it. This is a method. That means group of statements clubbed together under this name, that's the method name. So here what's happening is only one line of code is executed, right? So this is called scoping, like, bucketing out multiple lines of code together. Since it is a single line, we can make it even more neat. So which literally says, hey, whenever there is this method should be true, it has just this method that's getting, this line of code that's getting executed. Nice. And another thing, since it's a dark background, I don't know if you're able to look at the color difference. Here, the system is grayed out. And here, X unit is kind of brighter, right? It's white color. So what it means, if you over it, it says using directive is unnecessary, means it's not referenced anywhere. Let's do this. Let me comment it out and something will go red. So it's not able to recognize. So this is a dependency that we are taking. Whereas if you remove this, there's nothing going to be erroring because that's not even referenced in the code. There's an easier way that we can clean up these type of references. Before that, what you want to verify is go to tools, go to options. We always want the system directives, that is the native .NET directives, to be in the top layer compared to any other external directives that we will be adding. To verify that, we say system, yeah, under C#, under advanced. So here there is this option under using directives section which says place system directives first when sort using. So let's ensure that your checkbox is enabled here. And then now the action to perform all this cleanup, right? So analyze, code cleanup, and run code cleanup. So automatically it's going to clean up the code. It's not just this unused references are getting removed. There are many more things. How you can understand what it does is analyze, code cleanup, configure code cleanup. This is a default profile that we just ran. And this one includes what are the options that it is going to do when you run this. Each and everything, it does a lot. You can read about it and you can configure how you want your project it to be. Just for our sanity purpose, let's go with the default option for now. Good enough. Other ways you can try to run the code cleanup is right click and then analyze code cleanup and then run code cleanup. So far, what you've seen is before making a commit, you have to ensure you're able to build a solution. And then you are going to clean the solution by running the code cleanup. Third aspect, you'll have to run the test always. So you come here. If you don't see this test explorer, go to view. You can select test explorer, which is going to show you this pop-up and then execute it. This will always ensure that our code change that you have introduced as part of this commit is intact for the existing code. If anything fails, you'll have to fix it before making a commit. So everything looks good for me. Let's make a commit. This is going to be infra initialize unit test. Okay, commit. And again, it's committed only locally. Let me go create a pull request. So we landed up again in the view. Look and verify if everything looks good. Then you can create a pull request. Hope you all remembered that automatically a build will be triggered when a pull request is created against the main. Looks like it has failed. Let's look into the details. So it says test run. This is in 5.0. Okay, so our run version for the .NET was 6 and looks like the unit test project is at 5. Nice. Let's get back to our Visual Studio and make the changes that is required for our build to pass. So double click your unit test project. Yeah, as usual, it was 5. Let's remove this unwanted line. Let's update this to 6.0. Now let's make a code change. So here, so for the first task is where you actually created a unit test project. So we went with the commit message of infra initialize unit test project, whereas this commit is kind of making our code, fix some issues, right? So it can be code rub and you'll have to say updated .NET version. So any meaningful message that makes sense for the code that you're pushing in. Let's make a commit and then push it. This should automatically refresh the same pull request, so we don't have to create a new pull request. Let's get to the pull request screen and see how it's behaving. Okay, let's get back here. Let me refresh it. Yeah, looks like the build is kicked off. Maybe it should take a few minutes. On a recap, what did we see is we created a unit test project using the template X unit. Well, it has passed. And then we created a default test until we actually write our business test cases so that it is always, giving a positive test result as the tests are getting executed. Then we made our commit and created a pull request that had a failure of .NET version mismatch. So we had to go back and update the .NET version, and now the build is passed. Thank you for watching.